everyone, and welcome to our podcast. Today, we are talking about something we interact with every single day, but often realizing it that it is media language. From the way news is written to how memes communicate entire emotions in seconds, media constantly shapes how we think, feel, and respond to our everyday lives. To explore this, we have a special guest with us today. Joining us is Mr. Indranil Sir, a photo documentarian, visual storyteller, and an educator based in Mumbai with extensive experience in teaching design and filmmaking. We are really excited to have you, sir, today. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, yes.
So, sir, I'm really curious. How did your journey in design and filmmaking, photography just begin?
Um, my journey started with, you know, doing documentary photography. So that's how I started my journey, and I studied design outside the classroom, where I have never taken a very traditional learning of design, but I made sure that I acquired design in me through workshops, master classes, attending exhibitions, building networks, and getting mentorship from people from the industry and doing things in the industry. That's how I learned design in my experiences, and I've been lately practicing documentary filmmaking. So that's how my entire journey has been. A part of the visual media largely.
So, you did study filmmaking?
Yeah, I
Oh.
did, but largely in documentary filmmaking.
Oh, okay. So, how has your experience been like working with students in like filmmaking fields and creative fields?
My association with students have been very close, because in most of my projects which I do with the industry or in the industry technically, I have worked with my students. I never had a team, like an in-house team as such, with whom I've worked. It's majorly the set of students who are probably in my running batch, to whom I generally take in my projects, and that's how I've been able to closely associate with them and work with them in industry in my projects. They come with a lot of different perspectives, because every single time when I do a project, I have a different set of minds in my team, and that's how it gives me different perspective towards different projects which I counter. Uh, they become my peer review at the same time, and different set of audience, different set of project, different set of learners tend to give me different skill set as well. So that has been an advantage in my projects, and even today I have a community called Create a Way. So I've got 100 plus students as a community, which we still exchange. We exchange projects, we exchange opportunities, and this is how I've been closely, I like to work with students.
That's great. So, how do you think storytelling has changed in films like over time?
um, I believe first understand why even film got introduced to us. Because we as a humans used to tell stories since a very long time. Let that be through scripts, let that be through you know theater, drama, painting, sculptures. They're the mediums through which we have been telling stories to our audience. Why even film got into existence. And there are two major aspects to it. One is the experimentation with the time, something which we couldn't do it with the other mediums. And second is mass audience. We're able to reach to mass audience through film as a medium, and that has really impacted and has helped all these other mediums which we used to use it since a long time, has become very collaborative medium as a film together. Right? And over the years, the storytelling in film have changed, because of, if you look at the early cinemas, they used to be very simple with the visuals. There's a very straightforward communication. No major experimentation with the visuals, less sound drama. It's going to be like straightforward documentary sort of films. Then you got into mid cinema. You started getting those typical 3-act rule in the storytelling. People used to introduce conflict, then communicate the conflict through the story. So the films used to be more plot driven, right? And then you can get into 70s and 90s, is where the film started breaking the rules. It got into more experimentation, no more linear stories. It used to be non-linear then. Experimentation with the screenplay, and that's how from 2000s till the time, you've also got a major support of budget. Budget got involved, techniques got involved, and that's the reason why uh, a visual got support of a lot of other elements to filmmaking. So the methods of storytelling evolved based on the audience and the filmmakers during that particular time, and how it was being supported as a film, as a craft technically.
So, building up to that question, do you think film use more casual and realistic language?
Question, I believe, let's look at from different perspective, where language as a medium uh, can be seen from the filmmaker's point of view, the actor's point of view, and the audience point of view. The early cinemas used to have a lot of influence of drama and theaters. The actors who used to act in the theaters were also acting in the cinemas. So the language and the way of conduct in as an actor used to be slightly exaggerative, and the use of structured language was largely influenced because of the theaters. And then slowly, when the film got evolved, like I said, the storytelling got a lot of support of sound, lighting, and all the other visual support, which can allow the actors to even be paused but still communicate the same emotions to it. And also the third is the audience. Audience today will not be able to accept that particular structured language where the actor would try to act, because the films and the stories which we see often in today's time has to do with something which is very close to our experiences. And those experiences comes with a more naturalistic and realistic way of approach. So I guess today, I mean, it's a very debatable thing, because again, some of the stories require traditional language, but we have been largely adapted to casual more because it has been popularly used in today's medium. So it has been accepted by the audience very well, and people would relate to that casual language in the film compared to the structure in today's time.
Right. Okay. So, how does the tone of language, like serious, humorous, or emotional, affect how a film connects with people?
Absolutely. I guess this reminds me of this particular situation, like how we have started, consuming the context of something differently in today's time. A certain jokes or certain humor which used to be cracked earlier is now being taken very seriously. It's probably considered as an offense in today's case. To be very spot on with an example is transgender characters earlier used to be used in the films to communicate largely about humor, comic presence. But today it has been used as a very serious medium to communicate the same context of it. The tone and impact have changed over the years, and how it was being earlier used and how we are using it in certain cases. And because of that, the directors also have to be very conscious about what they are trying to communicate and how it has been accepted, because today the audience have changed their mindsets. So that has also impacted the tone and impact of it.
Okay, so you have noticed that there is a way to very difference in between the social media language and the newspaper and the television language, which is basically traditional media.
Correct.
So, yeah, if you could elaborate on that.
To me, have been it's an opposite case for me, because I haven't been able to trust even the traditional media these days, because they come with a lot of purpose, and because of that, the aspect of trust has still been on a toss for me, because whether it is social media or whether it is a traditional media, at least in today's case, social media, because of this immediate access to the material which is going out, it takes time to build that authenticity and the to come to a conclusion that this is something which is true. But in both the cases, they are floating on the same boat, I believe. But at least through social media, you're able to get some related material which can allow you to get deeper into the context of and the incident of it. Whereas traditional media is again very structured, because they have already filtered a lot of things before they even project it to you.
So, has social media or any kind of media ever changed your opinion or approach about something?
Yes. There was a time when I used to get very much influenced with what we see on social media, but over the time I realized that what we see on social media even is been masked.
Right.
Something which we see immediately is not true.
That influencers and journalists, they communicate the same idea but in different tones and manners. and how does that affect the audience?
It does, because, but the funny part is, the journalists are becoming more influencers now, coming on YouTube, and some influencers are getting into journalism. So it's a mix of both. But it's all about the audience, I guess. We feel more relatable to influencers these days because we're able to evolve or move around their life almost regularly, versus journalist way of approach.
So those were some really insightful thoughts. Thank you for sharing it with us. Before we wrap up, is there any advice you would like to give to students of design or maybe filmmaking?
I would say build an appetite to make mistakes. What is happening in today's time is like you, right at the first attempt, we all are trying to, or you all are trying to get the right thing at the right place. You wouldn't get the right thing in right place in the first attempt. Make mistakes. That's a good thing to learn. And there is a lack of because you have a lot of things happening simultaneously in a parallel life, in parallel career. Like you are thinking about something and that particular idea has already been executed. So look at the pace of things happening around the world, right? So when you're able to adapt to a lot of things and do, rather than thinking, doing is something which you have to keep practicing, because today it's all about, you get an idea, you execute it, you make mistakes, you refine it, and you tend to see how you can build it better. What I've been observing is like a lack of participation in the projects, spending very less time towards a particular idea is also affecting the outcome, right? And lastly, the what is the connected question? Was there a connected question to this? No, right?
No.
Okay. I guess that's something which I feel is largely, designer students and design students can I guess the only thing which I feel is like make mistakes, and yeah, if in related to the films, beyond your academic learning which you do, it's important for you to move out of the classrooms. It is important to move out of your classrooms and gain a lot of inspirations from the other mediums, which is theaters, films, music, so that these other mediums helps you in certain way in design and your thinking and your mindset. If you're going to box yourself onto those mood boards and the screens, you won't be able to adapt to things which are actually, bring the expression in the design. So that's something which I feel will be more fruitful.
Okay. So thank you so much, sir, for taking your time to speak
Lovely.
to us.
Pleasure.